Welcome back to Silent Pew. Today, I'm going to be breaking down step by step exactly how to buy a suppressor. And whether this is just your first time or you just need a refresher, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to get it done. And stick around to the end and I'll show you exactly how you can avoid the $200 tax stamp. Now here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to figure out how to choose the right suppressor, where to buy it, setting up your eForms account, individual versus a trust, submitting your paperwork, your wait times, taking possession, and some state laws to consider. Also, don't forget about that bonus tip to save you $200. Now why might you want a suppressor in the first place? Well, that's going to be up to you. But for me, I can think of a couple of reasons. First and foremost, you're going to have things like your hearing protection, you're going to have a reduced concussion, and even just as simple as a more pleasurable shooting experience when you go to the range. Now, step one is choosing the right suppressor. So a couple things you need to consider when looking for a suppressor is going to be A, what caliber are you needing? B, what's your use case? Is this for hunting or do you need it for hard use? And then C, what is your use? Is this going to be for a pistol, a PCC, a rifle, a hunting rifle? All of these things are something that you want to take a look at when considering choosing the right can for yourself. Now, a great first option would be something like this 30 cal can. This is an Omega 300. It's got a 30 cal bore size, and this is going to allow you to shoot 308, 7.62 by 3.9, 300 blackout, even all the way down to things like 5.56. The reason I think that's a great first can to go with is it allows you to be versatile and shoot a lot of different calibers, especially if that's the only can you're going to have for a while. Now, another thing you're going to want to consider is, do you want this to be low back pressure or flow through versus being a fully enclosed suppressor? Something like this, Velos 5.56, gives you that nice flow through, which is going to give you less gas to the face through that ejection port, but it is going to sacrifice a little bit of that sound. Now, you're also going to have options like this Saker series here, which is going to give you a full size option as well as a shorter version. Now, both of these are going to be 5.56 specific, so you're not going to be able to throw those 30 cals through, and you're going to have that shorter version, which could be useful for things like a more versatile or short setup. And then you're going to have that full size version, which is going to give you the ultimate capability for suppression. And then of course, if you're looking for something for a pistol or even a PCC, you're going to want to look for something like this 9mm can. And again, this is going to be titanium as well, so it's going to give you that super light setup. Something to pay attention to is most 9mm cans are going to allow you to shoot 9mm as well as 300 blackout. So when it comes to caliber, you really want to pay attention to exactly what your can is capable of, because you may get some versatility you weren't even ready for. And the last thing you want to think about is your mounting system. Are you planning to direct thread this onto a firearm? Or do you need a QD setup so you can swap suppressors across different hosts? It's going to be up to you, but I really prefer a QD setup because it allows me to put cans on different guns when I want, how I want to change it up. Now, step two is figuring out where you want to buy it. My personal preference is always support your local gun store because they're going to take care of you if you take care of them. Now, if you don't have a local gun store that provides suppressor options, then you can always go with an online option. Or if you just prefer online, you can go with an online option as well. And a great place to start would be somewhere like Capital Armory or even Silencer Shop. Options like these will either have a direct way for you to fill out all the paperwork with them, or have a kiosk nearby where you just need to stop in and do everything via their kiosk. No matter which way you look at it though, both of these are better than the old school paper option. Now, step three is pretty simple, but it's a necessary step before any paperwork can even be submitted, and that's creating an eForms account. Now, to create an eForms account, it only takes a couple minutes, and you just need to go to eForms.atf.gov, and like I said, in just a couple of minutes, your account will be created and ready to go. Now, before we get to step four, if this has helped clearing things up for you, give this video a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel move forward, and I really appreciate it. Moving into step four, we just need to figure out whether you're applying as an individual or a trust. Both of them have their pros and cons, and I'm gonna throw up some of those here. When it comes to individual, usually this process is a little bit more simple and has some faster paperwork. However, only you can legally use the NFA item. When it comes to a trust, usually these take a little bit longer to set up initially. However, you can add co-trustees, which means that they can use the NFA item without you being present. As well, you can reuse that trust for future NFA items. Now, this doesn't cover all the pros and cons. However, I just want to lay a couple of them out so you can start thinking about it. All right, step five, you've made your choice. Now all we need to do is submit the paperwork. Now the paperwork is going to be submitted by your dealer. A couple things you want to be prepared for is having a passport style photo, your fingerprint scans, a serial number for the NFA item, and of course, paying that $200 tax stamp. Now this is a great time to take note that you can buy as many suppressors at once as you'd like. A great thing about that is usually you can get a batch approval, so even if you bought 5 of them, you should be able to get all of those approved near or at the same time. Something to be aware of, however, is that each NFA item does require its own tax stamp, which means you have to pay that $200 tax per item. Now, a common question I hear at this time is, hey, I submitted my Form 4, but I can't see the status on my eForms account. Well, technically, the dealer is the one that submitted that form, so you won't be able to see it. Unlike an SBR or Form 1, where you'd be able to see the status of that, the Form 4 being submitted by the dealer means that you won't actually be able to see it on your end. However, you will still get an eForms email showing that that form has been submitted, as well as an approval email as soon as that's been approved. Step 6 is hurry up and wait. When it comes to wait times, we've got some pros and cons. Obviously, there should be 0 wait time. However, when you take a look at about 2 years ago, the wait times were somewhere between 11 and 14 months. I've had a couple cans take as long as 222 to 245 days. Right now, what I'm seeing is anywhere from 24 hours to 7 days. No joke. The last 3 cans that I purchased took about 42 hours, I think, 2 days, and 5 days. Also, pro tip, keep an eye on that inbox. A lot of times your dealer is gonna get that approval and you're gonna get it at the exact same time, but they may not reach out to you right away. As soon as you see that approval at your inbox, that means you're approved and you're ready to go pick your can up. Now, step 7 is the best one. Go pick up your suppressor. It's yours. Now, step 8's really not a step, but it is something that you need to consider before you even think about getting into this process, because it could determine whether or not you can even go through step 1 through 7. Suppressors are legal in 42 states and banned in others. And some states allow suppressors, but only for things like hunting. So one thing you want to do before you get too excited and start going through these steps is just checking your state and local laws to make sure this is something that you can follow through on. Now, if you've made it this far, step 9 can save you $200. Just recently, HR 1, or better known as the Big Beautiful Bill, just removed the $200 tax. Now, to clarify, it didn't remove the tax stamp, so you still have to go through the approval process, but you shouldn't have to pay the $200 tax stamp cost. Now, this isn't scheduled to take effect until January 1st, 2026, but if you're wanting to wait for that, it can save you $200. If you don't want to wait for that, you can get this process started as soon as right now. Now, this is a small win, but it's not what we're looking for, so keep pushing. And that's it. That's how you buy a suppressor from start to finish. Everything from choosing the right can to picking it up at your local gun store. Make sure you guys drop a comment down below if you've already been through this process or you're thinking about getting started. Once again, if this video helped you out, consider giving it a like. Also, consider subscribing if you want to see more. As always, I appreciate you guys. Stay safe and shoot straight.